Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring the properties of metalloids. These are the parts of the elemental world that honestly just flat out refuse to play by traditional scientific rules. We're going to look at what happens when the fundamental building blocks of our universe completely resist our best attempts to categorize them. Okay, let's dive into this. So, do all elements fit neatly into little boxes? Well, in science, we rely heavily on categorization to make sense of a really complex universe. We want elements to have a specific, dedicated spot on the periodic table, and we build these massive models based on predictability. We kind of just assume that if we know the category, we know the element. But nature doesn't always obey those strict binary rules. The physical world is just way more fluid than that. When we try to force reality into these rigid and flexible frameworks, we inevitably run into phenomena that challenge the whole shebang and force us to look a lot closer. For the longest time, we've basically forced elements into one of two opposing camps. You've got your metals on one side and your nonmetals on the other. It's a very black and white system. And hey, for the vast majority of the periodic table, it works perfectly fine. We expect metals to do certain things like being superconductive, malleable, nice and shiny, while nonmetals usually act as insulators and tend to be pretty brittle. This either-or setup has been the backbone of chemistry for centuries. It gives us a really comfortable, predictable way to figure out how different materials are going to bond and interact. But here's the kicker. Some elements just completely refuse to conform. Their atomic structures literally defy this convenient binary model we've set up. They have this highly specific mix of traits that stops them from being neatly tossed into the pure metal box or the pure nonmetal box. And this isn't just some minor anomaly or rounding error either. It's a massive challenge to how we map the physical world. It proves that these binary models, they're human constructs. Nature is perfectly happy operating totally outside of them. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is our core definition. Enter the metalloid. A metalloid is an element that exhibits some properties of metals and some properties of nonmetals. It's the ultimate chemical middle ground. Instead of cleanly picking a side, these elements have a completely hybridized identity. For example, they might conduct electricity way better than your average nonmetal, but nowhere near as efficiently as a standard metal. Because of this unique combo, they don't just bridge a gap conceptually, they bridge it functionally. And that demands an entirely new way of thinking about how elements behave. To really wrap our heads around this, we need to look at what they're actually missing on either end of the spectrum. First off, a metalloid is not exactly a metal. Sure, it might look metallic, it might even have that classic shiny luster. But actually, scratch that. If you try to use it exactly like a typical transition metal, it's just not going to work. It is fundamentally missing a complete metallic profile. It might be way too brittle to hammer into a shape, or its conductivity might be all over the place depending on the temperature. It falls just short of crossing the finish line into being a true metal. And on the flip side, it lacks the complete profile of a nonmetal too. You can't just lump it in with elements like sulfur or phosphorus and expect it to behave purely as an insulator. No way. A metalloid has way too many metallic traits for that. Under the right conditions, it might actually carry an electrical charge, or it might bond in ways that a true nonmetal never would. It exists completely outside of that traditional A or B choice, sitting in this unique structural space that just refuses to be tied down by conventional rules. Our source text actually hits the nail on the head here, noting that metalloids have properties that are between those of metals and nonmetals. They are quite literally the natural bridge spanning the gap between two extremes. And this intermediate nature isn't a flaw, it's their defining superpower. By hanging out in this gray area, metalloids offer a super versatile, highly adaptive range of chemical behaviors. Acting as a bridge lets them form these incredibly complex compounds and crystal lattices that purely metallic or purely non-metallic elements simply cannot pull off on their own. So the crucial point is that to truly understand a metalloid, you have to embrace its dual nature instead of trying to split it apart. It exhibits metal properties under some conditions and non-metal properties under others. Because of that, it permanently sits right in between. These elements are a distinct category defined entirely by their refusal to be put in a box. And that positioning is exactly what makes them so incredibly cool to study. They're living, breathing proof that chemical identity is a broad spectrum, not an absolute binary. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating question to ponder as we wrap up. Think about it. If the very elements that make up our universe naturally defy strict categorization, what other scientific rules have exceptions? If nature completely refuses to be boxed in at the most fundamental elemental level, where else are rigid human definitions blinding us to the complex, beautiful gray areas of the physical world? Definitely something to chew on. Keep questioning those boundaries.